Import procedure. Please have a look into the import procedure. There are three parties involved in the import procedure. Number one, customs officer. Number two, person in charge. And number three, importer. So customs officer here means the proper officer of the customs. Person in charge. If the import is by vessel, then the captain of the ship. And if the import is by aircraft, then the pilot. And if the import is by vehicle, then the conductor or the driver, whoever it may be. So they are called as person in charge. Means they are in charge for those particular vehicle, vessel or aircraft that is bringing goods into India. What is the major, that is the major proportion of imports is from which mode? Airways or seaways or land? Seaways, correct? We know that. So around somewhere 95% of the imports will be in seaways only. Only some 5% will be in airways. Reason being, heavy items cannot be imported in air. Some small items, courier bags and some small gift articles and very less articles, that can be some chemicals, rubbers, that can be imported. But if it is a heavy machinery, etc., that cannot be imported in air because the air freight will jump somewhere. So and the import cost will go up. So due to that reason, majority of the imports will be in sea route only. Okay, so that's why while we are discussing about import procedures, mostly we will be discussing from that angle only, but it does not mean the import procedure is not applicable to the other things. Okay, so these three parties, person in charge already understood, importer understood. So who will initiate the import procedure? First, a vessel will come into the customs area. What is the customs area? We have territorial waters. What is territorial waters? Up to 12 nautical miles from the baseline is known as territorial waters, and beyond the 12 nautical miles and up to 24th nautical mile we call it as Indian customs waters, and up to 200 nautical miles we call it as exclusive economic zone of India. Okay, continental shelf and exclusive economic zone of India. Beyond 200 nautical miles it is known as high seas. Okay, suppose if you consider baseline, assume that it is India, particularly South India. If you have any problem, I can't do anything. 12 nautical miles is known as territorial waters. Territorial waters. And the next 12 nautical miles, what is the next 12 nautical miles? Means total 24 nautical miles. So it will become customs waters, Indian customs waters. And then up to 200 nautical miles from the baseline. So up to 200 nautical miles from the baseline will become exclusive continental shelf and exclusive economic zone of India. Continental shelf and exclusive economic zone of India. Continental shelf and exclusive economic zone of India. And beyond 200 nautical miles, that is beyond this 200 nautical miles, greater than 200 nautical miles is known as high seas. Okay, now what is important for us is this 12 nautical miles. This 12 nautical miles. So as and when a ship arrives into the territorial waters, we usually call it as import. Arrival of vessel or aircraft. Arrival of vessel or aircraft. Understood? Now, whenever a vessel is coming, so let me give you about vessel so that you can correlate for aircraft. So whenever a vessel is coming into India, it will land in the port, customs port, only after obtaining grant of entry inwards. First permission should be given to come into the Indian port. Okay, to come into the Indian port, permission should be given, and that is known as grant of entry inwards. Okay, and when the grant of entry inwards will be given, if person in charge is filing an import general manifest. If person in charge is filing import general manifest, then a grant of entry inwards will be given. What is this import general manifest? See, a vessel is coming into India and you are a customs officer. You are a customs officer. Now, if you allow the goods freely to come into India, what happens? If you allow the goods freely to come into India without having a check, a hazardous good may enter into India, or some biosynthetic weapons may come into India, correct? And some prohibited goods may come into India, due to which the domestic economy will get damaged. So that is the reason why a vessel, when it is coming into India, the person in charge of that vessel should submit an import general manifest stating what are all the goods contained in his ship. Okay, and it will be filed with whom? It will be filed with the customs officer. On filing that import general manifest, then grant of entry inwards will be given. Grant of entry inwards, permission to come into India and land it at the port, and subject to berthing accommodation. Subject to berthing accommodation, because the import general manifest is filed, grant of entry inwards is given, but it will not come and land here because there is a port. There is a port, and already when there is a ship which is ready, definitely that will not come. It will come and it will wait. So that's why if you go to Marina Beach and if you see there, some ships will be standing. So at the outer anchorage it will be standing. So and then only it will enter into the port. Why? Because the berth is not available here. The consignment needs to be cleared due to that reason. Okay. So that is the first aspect, filing import general manifest and grant of entry inwards. Got it? Grant of entry inwards. Sir, you are telling only when person in charge is filing import general manifest, grant of entry inwards is given. So which means, will the person in charge come to the shore swimming and he will file the import general manifest and then only will the grant of entry inwards be given, or how it works out? Correct or not? Only after filing import general manifest, grant of entry inwards is given. Which means that, how he will do that? How he will do the filing? Now we have electronic data interchange, EDI system, wherein, so import general manifest will be filed online, ICE gate. Okay, so let's see that. See this. CIGM inquiry, CIGM, AIR-IGM. Suppose if you want to, already if you have filed, so you can get the tracking as to whatever is the port and whatever is the bill number, and if you click, it will know whether it has reached or not, whether the IGM has reached or not. And suppose if you want to file also, you can file. Here, once you log in, you can file the IGM. You should have an import export code. You should have an import export code, but this is the website. This is the website for which all practical purposes we will do the online e-filing. Okay. In case of excise and service tax, we have ACES, aces.gov.in. Whereas for customs, we have icegate.gov.in. Got it? Suppose if I get any import export code, I will explain. Okay, I need to take permission. So I have, but I will take permission and I will show as to how practically it will work out. Okay. So when the person will be filing import general manifest, and then only the goods, the grant of entry inwards will be given. As and when grant of entry inwards is given, the ship will arrive into the customs port, and then goods will be unloaded into the customs area. Once goods are unloaded into the customs area, then Parallelly, importer needs to file a bill of entry. Importer needs to file a bill of entry. What is this bill of entry? Sir, the so and so goods belong to me and this is the value of the goods and this is the duty payable. So he will file a bill of entry. On filing bill of entry, automatically, suppose if the duty has been paid and if everything is proper, then out of customs charge order will be passed by the customs officer. What is this out of customs charge order? Okay, now you can take the goods and go out. Okay, so then after this the goods will be taken out and there will be an outpass, so the goods will be transported and clearing and forwarding agents and the customs house agents will take care of this. Will take care of this job, not necessarily that importer should go there, but they will be doing it on behalf of the importer. They should get POA. Okay, who can be a customs house agent and who can be a clearing and forwarding agent? Any person can be a clearing house agent or clearing and forwarding agent. Only thing, he should get the license. He should get the license to do the business and he should get the license to enter into the port or airport. Okay. And here we came to know about the procedure in simple diagram. Now we will see the complications involved. What are all the documents involved in case of import by vessel? In case of import by vessel and aircraft, the person in charge will be filing import general manifest. In case of import by vehicle, the person in charge will be filing import report. Understood or not? Just there is a difference because vessel and aircraft will come under the customs department only, Indian customs department, but vehicle will not come. It will come under land customs station. Due to that reason only, the report, the name of the document will change. It will be import report, but don't get confused with this. And then importer will always be filing bill of entry, no matter what is the mode of import. So whether it is by vessel or aircraft or by vehicle, he will be filing bill of entry. Got the clarity? Next, procedures to be followed by person in charge we will see. Section 29 to section 35 talks about procedure to be followed by person in charge. Section 29 to 35 of what? Customs Act 1962. Section 29. It tells each and every provision is very important and we will get to know the procedure. What is the procedure for import? Section 29 tells the vessel or aircraft should arrive in India only at the customs port or airport, which means it should not arrive in any other port. It should be arrived only at the customs port or airport. Sir, in India there are many ports or airports, but it may not be a customs port or airport. Understood or not? Customs regulated port or airport it should be. What is customs regulated port or airport? Wherein customs department will be there and it will have a check as to what all the goods which are coming and going. Sir, which means that every port there will be customs? No. Airport or port will be taken care by Airport Authority of India and Port Trust of India. And customs department will be staying inside that. Understood or not? The port or airport will be under the control of Airport Authority of India and Port Trust India, but customs department will be located inside that. Understood? Next, the vessel or aircraft should arrive in India only at customs port or airport, but in case of health reasons, safety, etc., yes, it can be landed at any other place. So it can arrive at any other place. Okay, but CBEC can permit landing of vessels and aircrafts at a place other than the customs port or airport. Previously, it is the customs officer, but now customs officer will not give that approval. The approval will be given by CBEC only. Sir, when there is a health reason, etc., how come we can ask CBEC? For health reasons, safety, etc., no need to get permission from CBEC, but you should prove the CBEC that you have landed it only on account of health reasons and safety. But for any other reason, you need to obtain approval from CBEC. Even if you are not obtaining prior approval, but it is subject to approval of CBEC only, not subject to approval of officer, customs officer. Now it has been changed. Okay, this is the amendment. Previously it was customs officer, but now it is CBEC, Central Board of Excise and Customs. You need to take permission from the board itself. Any other place means Chennai port is there. Okay, In Tamil Nadu itself, how many ports are there? You don't know. Pondicherry. Next. In South India, that Kerala, Kerala state, how many ports are there? Yes. Kerala, I don't think so, but where this Toothukudi, it's in Tamil Nadu only, right? Tuticorin. Tuticorin is in Tamil Nadu only. So there we have one port. But all these are small ports. All these are small ports and it is not regulated by customs. But why sir we have port there? We have port only for the purpose of inland waterways. If you need to send consignment from one place to another place, yes, definitely you need to have that. Okay. Next. Delivery of import general manifest or import report. Penalty for belated filing 50,000 rupees. Understood? Very important. Import general manifest or import report needs to be filed, and if it is not done, then there is a penalty for 50,000 rupees. What is that? Belated filing. Belated means we need to know what is the due date of filing import general manifest. In case of vessel and aircraft, import general manifest should be filed before arrival of the vessel or aircraft at any time. Whereas in case of vehicle, import general manifest should be filed only after arrival within 12 hours. Okay. Suppose if you are not filing before arrival and if you bring your ship and somehow you got the entry inwards and later on if you are filing import general manifest, then definitely there will be a penalty for belated filing. Got it?